Yeah, I seen him post that where he said there was 86 battles this past year or something, and
Yeah,
like
yeah. Hold on.
five of them only hit a million.
Well, we recording now, so let's do it right because I want to give my man some credit, even though he had nothing to do with our conversation. Salute the first off, salute to everybody rocking with us. Salute to everybody subscribe to all three of our channels. In case y'all don't know, the Union episodes go across 3 channels. Visual makes us look good. DME brings all the motherfucking energy, and I just survive off them. But my man, my man, damn, I'm wild. Salute to him. Follow him on subscribe to him on YouTube too. AKA Fat Boy. I had a question. My question was, is it easier to get 1 million views on a battle now than it was back then? Let's say 2 or 3 years ago, right? And by the same token, is it easier for people to come up faster through the rankings now than it was 2 or 3 years ago? So my man Dan on Wow had it was a question I had. We weren't able to get together yet, so he had did some of the homework I was gonna do, but he already did it. So I can't go look at what he put because then I'll fall out this app. But he put up some dope stats. But bottom line, I guess we'll start with you, Visual, because I know there's somebody on the other side there who can't wait to just erupt. You know what I mean? So we'll start with you, Visual.
If I recall, I read the tweet. He said there was 86 battles that URL dropped, I think last year, and only like 5 or 6 of them are over 1 million views. Mm-hmm. And they're all top tiers. They're not up and comers. So I think it's easier to move up the ranks.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with the 1 million views shit. I don't know if fans are declining or what's going on. Because there definitely seems to be a hype and enthusiasm seems to be at an all-time high. Yet the numbers don't reflect that.
I mean, it's real simple. The pay-per-views is the problem. What do you mean? They're not even dropping dropping these things at any rate that it's acceptable or anybody cares. I don't even watch these battles when they drop anymore because they come out 10 months later. I don't care.
Did me. Time out.
What?
I'm not talking about URL, man.
What are you talking about?
Battle rap.
But you just said 87. He just referenced 87 battles on URL that haven't hit 1 million views. Nobody's going to hit 1 million views. URL has the best chance of hitting 1 million views because they're the most popular. When has other battle rap leagues besides King of the Dot hit 1 million views ever?
God, KOT.
I agree with what you're saying. I just wanted to clarify. I wanted to clarify that we weren't. While what Visual was referencing was the tweet that I was talking about. But in general, I just want you to understand what I meant. I meant in battle rap. I didn't necessarily mean just URL.
I think
a lot of the leagues are doing the pay-per-view thing too. URL's kind of been the last one to jump on it consistently. Bullpen's been doing pay-per-views. King of the Dot's been doing pay-per-views. I think that's definitely hurt them with their views in the past. As far as the views go, I'm just gonna reference URL just for my argument. It's the pay-per-views has a little to do with it, but I don't think a lot to do with it. And also just the way they drop the battles. I mean, when something's that old, nobody cares. It's like we're in this kind of society where people have a low attention span, and something that happened 6 months ago that gets dropped on YouTube that was available and probably been bootlegged 100 times. That loses its steam, and that's been my whole problem with that. But it doesn't really matter at this point because they're making all their money off the pay-per-views. But there's going to be a point where like me, I'm getting wore out with purchasing pay-per-views, and when you treat your fans the way certain leagues treat their fans, things will happen.
All right. Well, my take on this situation is I think the both of you are right. I'm just gonna add on to what you were saying, and So here's the thing. Clearly, people had the events are more accessible now. Back then, you got to think about it. They did an event like there was such a build up, so on and so forth. And at the particular time, there was only really 2 leagues. I mean, mostly URL, but King of the Dot also. There was only 2 leagues who could really afford million view guys, so to speak. Like, can afford a battle that can potentially get them 1,000,000 views, right? I'm talking about in comparison to now. This is just a few years ago, right? And then there weren't as many leagues. So it's even now, like before I knew, like you could ask me even sometimes lyrics and I could tell you what battle that came from and shit like that. Like that whole game show that 15 Minutes of Fame had where Heavy Bags and them was over there. Like the bar exam, I think it was. Like there was a point in time I would have wished to been on that show because I felt like I would have kicked a lot of people's ass. And then now everything is so many leagues, so many battles, so on and so forth taking place. Sometimes I don't know what battles already happened, so on and so forth. I'm so spread between battles. So when you look at that and you look at how much more accessible battle rap is now, now between the revenue that comes from the pay-per-view also makes it easier to pay certain battle rappers, you know what I'm saying? So that you can get more big name battles in general that wasn't just the Summer Madness. That makes a big difference. The bootlegging clearly makes a huge fucking difference. You know what I'm saying? But I think the Patreon, which intelligently the King of the Dot did, I think the Patreon made a difference in their situation. The difference with King of the Dot opposed to everybody else, I think overall, and anybody listening and watching, please listen to my words. I think overall, King of the Dot is in the best position to better financially capitalize off of their material. So while you might still have some bootleggers and so on and so forth, you know, you have people who are subscribed to their Patreon, so on and so forth, who are there's still some sort of money, and it's still better compensation than throwing that shit straight on YouTube. So there's that. And of course with URL, they're not putting out the battles like that. You know, so that's a big thing with them. But I feel like the pay-per-view and mostly the bootlegging is what stopped all that. And then we have a small pinch, and in my opinion, we have a small pinch to blame towards some of the artists. You have some guys who show up with a round and a half, a guy who show up with 2 rounds. You have guys who show up feeling like they're there for the bag and they don't give a fuck about the matchup as much.
More lackluster battles.
Exactly. Or you have people who don't fucking show up and stuff like that, and all of that plays a part in you know, people's interest in stuff and people's willingness to patronize a product.
I think Hey, Visual, before we keep going, you got the cameras, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
remember you recorded it wrong before?
yeah, it's wrong, but
and your mic sounds great, by the way. Did you change something?
No.
Okay. All right. Imagine
he had that mic on. He had that mic on in one of his drive-through situations again, but we can move on.
Imagine being a casual battle rap fan, right? And most battle rap fans are casual. There's always the hardcores that are going to be the small group. Imagine being a casual battle rap fan, you know, watching battle rap on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. You know, they like battle rap, but they don't like it to a point where they want to drop all this money on pay-per-views because that's a lot to ask. Now you're at a point where it's like, you don't know, like let's say you've been a URL fan for years, and now after this pay-per-view model they got now, and you really don't buy the pay-per-views, and you're getting like random battles dropped from 4 or 5 months ago, like very sporadically, and there's still tons of battles from months ago that haven't been released. You're going to start to lose interest, bro, and it's going to start taking effect, and they really, really need to do something, and they're having too many events, and I think it's watering down battle rap. You know, there's going to be a point where we run out of matchups. There's not going to be any more matchups, and the fact that, you know, what's been going on in battle rap lately is just been, it's been disgusting to me. when people get away with things that they get away with, so other people get treated the way they do. That makes no sense. It depends who's popular and who's favored by the company. So I don't know, man. I've been just a little bit disenfranchised the last couple of days. We can get into it later.
Don't go yet. Don't go yet.
I'm not going there yet. I'm just trying to give you some context of where I'm coming from right now, and where I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. I just recently, my girl's friend, she's like, "Oh, you like battle?" She came by and they're like, "Oh, you like that?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, my boyfriend watches your blogs." And I was like, "Oh, he does this out of nowhere." And then I ended up getting his number. We're talking, and it's like, he started to feel the same way because he doesn't really buy the pay-per-views either. And he's like, I watch the bloggers and stuff, but he's like, nothing ever drops. And he's like, I'm starting to lose interest too. And it's like, back when, in the golden era, we could call it, battle rap was more new, and especially with the league's situation. And I just think the guys back then were bigger stars than the stars they're creating now. So I think that, battle rap's in a transition phase right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now it's easier and faster for guys to get through the ranks. And I think a lot of it has to do with the politics. Of course, and I'm starting to see this in the last year or two in mixed martial arts also, in the UFC, where sometimes they start giving a fuck more about selling tickets. You know what I'm saying? So they do these little funny ass moves that I don't think is cool. And so it's easier. It's a lot easier for guys to come through the ranks, but it's part of the politics. I think back then, just like in real hip hop, just like in MMA, just like in boxing, there was a point where you literally had to be very talented for somebody to even want to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is so watered down where everybody's sounding like they self. There's a trillion battle rappers. There's always this debate on who's stealing bars, who's not. There's always this debate over who's willing to take what battle, whether it's going to be a one-round battle. I hate fucking one-rounders. I think of the JC and O-Red, if I'm not mistaken, that was a 2-round battle. And there was another battle I can't think of on the top of my head that was a fucking 2-round battle. I hate those type of situations, but
fucking 2-round battles.
I understand people paying for the look. There are people out here who it's like advertising for yourself. Some people willing to pay for their look, but them doing that gives them a little. Well, they have the potential to fly through the ranks a little faster. I don't know, and I also think the pay-per-view situation, again, it helps people get out there more. Like back then, it wasn't like that. If you wasn't at an event, you had to wait till they dropped it on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I just think that those guys were better overall battle rappers.
I forgot. Can you guys refresh me? But back before the pay-per-views, how long would it take a URL to drop a battle from the pay-per-view time?
No more than 3 months, right?
Yeah, most of the time it depends who it was too, because you have people like Hitman that sit there and cry all on social media and make this big fucking show, and then within less than a month they would drop the battle. But for the most part, URL battles normally came out about 4 to 6 weeks after the event.
That's what I thought. Yeah, about 4 to 6 weeks.
Sometimes, there were situations where there were situations where it was like 3 months before they dropped them. Because remember, initially they used to drop them round by round.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was because I think remember, didn't YouTube have a limitation on 10-minute videos or something? Was that an issue at that point, or was just they were doing?
I don't recall.
Well, before you could only upload like a 10-minute video to YouTube. That might have been way before. That might have been in like
that's when the smacks were broken up.
Into
one round,
the smack DVDs and stuff.
Yeah. And the grind time shit.
Yeah. But yeah, 1 round at a time. That was an interesting time. But battle rap was so new to the public then, so it was like, you got what you got.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as it being easier to break in, I think it's just like the music industry with technology and everything. back in the day, you know, you had to have connections and this and that. But now you can do whatever you want because you can just put it up on the internet. But the problem with that is, you know, now everybody's doing it, so everybody gets drowned it out, you know. And now there's so many battle rappers. I think a lot of the good ones might get drowned it out because there's just so much going on. We didn't have back then. Before it was more like, you know, it wasn't that many battlers. You know, there were battlers, but not like right now. And that's gonna happen when you continue to grow. Battle rap's still new, so you know, if relatively so.
Well, we're gonna keep it all the way funky. YouTube is no longer a platform to watch battles because it's all done pay-per-view, right? A lot of us fucking buy the pay-per-views. YouTube, the main source as far as battle rap's concerned, has a lot more to do with media. I'm not enthused anymore to wait for a battle to drop on YouTube. I don't give a fuck. I'm not checking for shit anymore.
Yeah, but a lot of that also has to do with the leagues losing revenue on YouTube. And here's one thing I've heard. I've heard that this is how members of URL feel, but don't quote me on this. I didn't speak to anyone directly. I didn't speak to no one who is officially URL, but from what I was told, the big reason too why they don't want to, it's two reasons why they don't drop them on YouTube as much. A is because, which is the obvious, is they want you to buy the pay-per-views. So of course, them dropping them like that on YouTube more often doesn't work in their favor in terms of the pay-per-view revenue, right? The other thing is YouTube's fucking fault. Like, you know, YouTube has affected all of us. So imagine them. Imagine you sitting out here putting out a fucking million-view battle, and you know, off the ad revenue, let's just say you make $200. It might be less than that. I'm just saying, off 1 million views. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like $5,000.
That shit is whack, and it's just like, yo, I'll make more off the pay-per-view. Yeah, I'm not gonna be putting content out, but why should I allow you to keep making a bunch of money off our fucking content when there's a way for me to make some money? Only issue I have with URL, and DME has spoken to this before, is that they should go in a similar way that King of the Dot has in terms of the Patreon situation.
Well, let me tell you something. That's great and all, as far as, oh, well, you know, we're doing the... honestly, and I've talked about this, I don't think there's a good big correlation towards releasing a battle 30 days after a pay-per-view and not getting pay-per-view sales. Like I said, and I mentioned this before, people who buy pay-per-views, they're a niche audience. The reason they're buying the pay-per-views, they want to watch it live.
It's all about the live.
They want to watch it live. They don't want to watch it the next day. They don't want to watch it in 2 days. You buy a pay-per-view because you want to watch it live. Okay, that's the only reason. So if
I ain't gonna lie, I hate. The only reason why is because social media also fucks it up. It's difficult for me to want to buy a pay-per-view the next day after on social media I already heard so much about the shit. Now I don't even want to, you know, I don't have the same interest.
Unless everybody's raving that you have to see these battles.
Right, but
we haven't got that in a while.
I'm telling you, there's no correlation. Like, even if it's 30 days, like, someone's not going to be like, well, you know what? This battle's going to drop in 30 days, so I'm not going to buy the pay-per-view. That's not what happens. That's not how people do their purchasing when they want to buy a live pay-per-view. It's always been the case. So that whole mentality, and you got to forget the revenue you get from YouTube. You now in your pay-per-view model, you use YouTube as a vehicle to gain new fans to drive them to your pay-per-view. I mean, I feel like that's so 101, and it's like, and then this whole animosity towards you. Oh, okay, forget the petty money that you're making from YouTube. It's all about now gaining new fans, and maybe that new fan might buy your pay-per-view. That's how you continue to grow. Otherwise, you're not going to grow any more new fans. How are you going to grow new fans? You have no other platform. You don't do anything. All right, from your website, like, that's not how you gain new fans. You gain new fans from YouTube. Why do you think all these other people, all these other in news, they all stream live on YouTube? Go watch all these people. Everybody stream live on YouTube. They get kicked off and they come back with different channels because they understand the audience is huge and they need the YouTube audience to continue to grow their brand and sell those people on what they're trying to sell. You don't need that revenue from YouTube anymore. You know, and you still make money off YouTube. Like, it's not like it's gone. I mean, that's another myth. It's lower, but it's not gone.
That shit is not. And not only that, it's a lot more content being taken down for nothing. It's a lot more restriction on shit. It's a lot more in their feelings, motherfuckers doing shit to fuck with your content. But I want to ask you a question, but Visual, I want your answer first. Pretty much URL is who we're talking about in terms of they're not dropping battles. But do you think that King of the Dot has it that much right with them on a Patreon before it gets to the time before it gets to the actual YouTube?
I think they're actually doing something about it. You know, they've done something to balance out this issue with the whole YouTube hit. YouTube is definitely a marketing promo tool now. Even you see the top YouTubers and shit, their only source isn't YouTube. They got sponsors, they got merch. That's where they make their money. In real advertising, like marketing and branding yourself, you want the first 1,000. You can have 1 million subscribers, but you need those loyal and dedicated 1,000. If you're selling shirts and you're making $10 per shirt, that 1,000 is going to keep you up.
Yeah.
No matter if you have 1 million subscribers. It's the loyal ones, the ones that rock with you, believe in your brand, and purchase your shit. YouTube alone isn't cutting it. And for URL, like, this is a gift and a curse getting so many battles, right? Because we want these battles. But the problem is that they're cutting the throats of every other league under them. Because if you're only dishing out pay-per-view money for URL, then every little league on the side, you're not going to buy this shit because you're too busy buying all these other pay-per-views every month. So it puts us in a situation to pick and choose. Look at this RBE versus URL war. This is kind of in the same mix. You're picking and choosing which one you want. Hopefully, a lot of you guys can see both, but I understand if you're going to choose one, you could only afford one, and this is where this grudge comes from. Because it started with the rumor that it was going to be on the same day, and that really made you think, which one am I going to buy?
Yeah.
I mean, the battle rap is trying to tell us right now that it's financially in a position that they expect their fans to divvy out $50 to $100 every month. And I'm talking about, like, don't tell me, oh, you don't have to buy. That's not how this works. It's not how business works. When you have a hardcore fan base, right? You're telling us you expect that hardcore fan base to pay $50 to $100 every single month. You're telling me battle rap is at a place where they can sustain that? It's impossible. It's not. Wrestling couldn't even sustain that, and they had to go to a $10 a month model, and they got 5 million people who watch their Raw every Monday. 5 million, all right, and they couldn't sustain that model. They had to switch it up and go to $10 a month and give you all the pay-per-views for that price. Right?
My man me got wrestling bars. Go ahead.
But no, it all correlates, and they need to understand that. And and the amount of pay-per-views they're pushing out, it's not sustainable. There's a breaking point. I'm telling you, it's the economics 101, and there's a URL is putting all these other leagues in this position. Who is going to buy a small battle rap league pay-per-view now after spending all this money on all these URL battles? Like who? Unless you're like now you're really getting to a small portion of the fan base. You got the hardcore, then you got the super hardcore that want to watch everything. Now they're trying to think, well, I love URL, but I want to watch this bullpen pay-per-view. But damn, man, I just spent all this on it. Now you're thinking about it. So that it's hurting all the smaller leagues in the long run.
God forbid you miss a URL event with which everybody talks about, then you're going to be out of the loop, right?
My issue is there's too many. It's too many. Like, if we wanted more But you just because we want more doesn't mean you give us $1 million. Like that's there's got to be a balance here, and I don't know, man. Jay, why am I wrong?
I didn't say you were wrong.
No, I know. I don't know.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm shaking my head and almost like this, but like not. You get what I'm saying? It's not about you. I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but I'm thinking about it like, you know what I'm saying?
Like before, were you buying like the other like smaller league pay-per-views? Like, would you buy a bullpen? Would you buy a?
I have to be honest. I have yet to buy a bullpen. Their last event, I did plan on it.
I bought that.
There was another event. I think it was the same day or some shit like that. I purchased it, and then every time I kept saying I'm gonna buy the bullpen shit, I would like if something would go on or I'll see something on Twitter, and I'm just like, you know, I shouldn't have let that discourage me, but it's just the truth. Like I would see people saying like quoting bars and shit, and I'm just like, it didn't make me want to watch it after that.
Right.
I've been buying RBE pay-per-views since their first pay-per-view.
Yeah, I've been buying those pretty consistent too.
Yeah, I buy it
so it's been RBE, King of the Dot, and well, pretty much the three biggest leagues. Like that's who I've always purchased their pay-per-views. And then there was one that was on Rap Grid that I was asking you guys to purchase as well. It was going for a good cause.
Oh yeah.
And the truth is, I didn't get around to that either. And that one, I'm more disappointed in myself because that was for a good cause. Apparently, they dropped one of the battles, which anybody, please, we'll do our homework and find out what battle that was. But one of the battles dropped, and they still had a link there for people to donate. It's for a good cause. So yeah, that's something I should have did automatically. I fucked up on that one. But other than that, I agree with everything you were saying, DME. I do, because the way URL is also looking at it is like, oh well, you guys, when we wasn't giving y'all pay-per-views, everybody was bitching. Now we're giving you, now it's too much. To me, it's just the price point, which us three have talked about plenty of times. My issue with King of the Dot, and I did tweet King of the Dot, and apparently after August they're gonna be making an announcement. My only issue with King of the Dot is that this year they haven't been as active, and if you look at it, they were the #1 pay-per-view league before.
Yeah, they were, and I don't know why they're not as active. And I still think they take too long to release their battles, even with the Patreon.
But that's what I asked you. That's what I asked. Go ahead.
I agree with that. I still think they take. I think they're better. They're better than URL. That's for sure. They still take too long. They have a schedule, but it's like, it's like it goes through 2 months of it's like one a week for 2 months. I mean, it's better. Don't get me wrong, but I still think it's too long. So I don't know, man. I'm telling you, after these Summer Madnesses and all the casuals, they go away because all the casuals that come for Summer Madness and things like that. I don't know. I think battle rap's gonna look different, by the end of this year than it does now. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be a point. That's how I'm just the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I definitely be feeling bad for the smaller leagues, man. I see some cars go up, and I'm like, man, nobody's gonna watch. There's too much battle rap going on. This whole card is gonna be missed.
Yeah, I got people.
I might not even get around to it.
There's battles happening and coming out in Flint. Danny Myers is supposed to be on the card. I don't know how this guy's got so many battles.
The capitalism may kill it in the same sense.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's true.